Hello guys, here with a new video for the channel. I hope you like it, and if you like it, don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now without further ado, get comfortable. Let's begin. A battle never seen before was about to begin. That's right, the battle of the most powerful beings of those multiverses was about to begin. However, from the shadows, the ancient god of death was watching them. That's right, the god had left the forbidden universes because he wanted to end with the being that could bring him a problem in the future. I will wait until both are out of energy and on the verge of death, and at that moment, I will annihilate both of them. At that precise moment, a crack would begin that caused the entire universe. That's right, the clash of their fists had begun, causing everything around them to be destroyed, with the exception of the planet Earth. The power of Vegeta was so much that even withstood all that. Surprised with the powerful Broly and Susanoo, both subjects were very surprised to feel their clash of fists to their universes. The power of both guys is so much that they even make my castle to be destroyed. I find this unbelievable. My lord, don't you think it'd be better if we went to that place? You're right. It's the wisest thing to do. But at that moment, they felt the power of Susanoo rise to the maximum. Broly a little surprised since the ancient god Susanoo was a peaceful being, and in the same way he was in the limits of the universe, Deku and Broly would get going. Returning to the battle, Vegeta and Zeno-sama was very evenly matched. That is, being a negative entity, his body was able to store much more power of darkness. Meanwhile, inside the body of Vegeta, the voice of Zeno-sama could be heard. Vegeta, being part of the consciousness of my friend Goku, I'm able to communicate with you. You must quickly finish with that guy and run away, because there's much more powerful being that's stalking you. Are you sure of what you're telling me, Zeno-sama? I don't feel any evil presence. Trust me, it's a being that even surpasses the power of my counterpart. Vegeta at that moment would be a little worried, because if a being that powerful surpassed his counterpart, was stalking them, then it'd be something to fear. At that moment, Vegeta began to take the battle much more seriously and try not to spend so much energy. Meanwhile, in the limits of the universe was Susanoo, and at that moment, Broly and Deku arrived. Second most powerful god Susanoo, what the hell's going on? Why is the sudden increase in your power? We've been deceived by that damn Ryota. I don't understand you. Explain yourself. The ancient god of death. That being was able to kill Yamoshi. The most powerful Saiyan known to date has been released. But how is that possible? Are you sure of what you're affirming? Susanoo at that moment would indicate a ruins, which only two beings were able to invoke them. The ancient Saiyan god Yamoshi and the ancient god of death, Psyche. Broly at that moment felt a chill go through his body. But I don't understand why you expelled your power like that. We have been sealed in these multiverses. The ancient god of death considers the Saiyan that's fighting with the king of everything a megaversal danger. You've deduced it in an excellent way, so that we do not interfere. He has sealed us in these universes. Even though I'm an ancient god, I am Broly, the Super Saiyan legendary god. My power is unlimited. I'll destroy these useless barriers. Broly at that moment would begin to increase his power in an overwhelming way. Meanwhile, with Vegeta and Zeno-sama, the battle was reaching its climax, so Vegeta's power, was overcoming him little by little. Zeno-sama, not having so much experience in combat, did not control the wear of energy. At that moment, Vegeta would use a little more of his power since he wanted to finish him quickly. Vegeta would use techniques of murder, which Susanoo taught him, leaving Zeno-sama very wounded. After approximately 25 minutes of battle, Zeno-sama had already lost more than half of all his power. Vegeta was about to end the life of Zeno-sama, but at that moment a murderous aura would fall all over that place. That's right, the power of Psyche had appeared and an array of energy would end with Zeno-sama. However, his attack had been special, as it turned out that he turned him into simple dust, leaving no trace of its existence. "Vegito, run away! Run away! You don't stand a chance against that guy!" Vegeta at an impressive speed would begin to move across the universe. "You think you can run away from me, the ancient god of death? Don't be pathetic." Psyche in only 2 seconds was able to reach Vegito, who would be surprised by the speed of that guy. "Don't you value your life? You should have run farther. Now I'll end your life." Vegito, no matter what, would get into a battle pose. That's right, his body was not able to take the initiative to finish, since the aura of that guy in front of him looked like that of a giant, which stole all his power. "What the hell are you? I can't believe that there's someone with power like yours." Psyche at that moment would begin to approach Vegito, who had his guard ready. However, he was not able to observe the 1,000 blows that Psyche gave him in a matter of seconds. Psyche, with a strong kick, would send him to crash into a planet. "My name's Psyche, and I'm the ancient god of death of the Forbidden Universes. My son Ryota, or rather was, since I made him part of my power, but he was able to be part of that being that'll rule everything. And finally, I'll be able to finish with the cursed descendants of Yamoshi. I have the necessary power to finish with Broly." Psyche at that moment would begin to massacre Vegito, who was not able to do anything to him. Vegito in a moment was able to give him a blow. However, at that moment of touching his aura, his bones would sound, making contact with the pressure of that subject. The spirit of Vegeta was strong, being the fusion of the most powerful Saiyans of all universes, but even the spirit of Vegeta was being torn to pieces. That's right, he couldn't understand the massive energy that was in front of him returning to the Forbidden Universe. The veins of Broly's body seemed to explode. That's right, his power was increasing to incredible levels, being able to crack some of his barriers. Broly was about to reach his limit. However, at that very moment, in his mind, he was able to observe his ancestor Yamoshi. "My son, my offspring, you have enough power to be able to destroy those barriers, and you're not alone. I trust you with my power." At that moment, Broly's power would be restored almost immediately. And that was not all, since the power of Ultra Instinct had reached a new level. That's right, the power that it gave off was amazing. Broly, with a loud scream, had been able to destroy all the barriers that Psyche had placed in the universe. Broly and Susanoo began to fly at a high speed towards the great battle. Deku would stay in their universes because his power was not enough to help in this battle. The speed of both subjects was so fast that it even destroyed the realities themselves. At that moment, they were able to reach the battlefield. They'd be surprised since they were able to observe the imposing warrior who was able to defeat all the supreme gods together. He was totally slaughtered on the ground and on the verge of death. "It seems to me that the son of the cursed Yamoshi has the little potential. I can see that you're able to destroy matter energy capabilities." Broly at that moment would throw him a furtive blow which would send Psyche flying hundreds of meters through the universe. Broly would quickly take Vegito, throwing him to Susanoo. At that moment, Susanoo, with one of his divine techniques, would be able to make Vegito recover from all his wounds. But in the same way, at that moment, the fusion would end. The power Vegito had used had surpassed the power of his earrings. "How can we defeat that guy? He was able to even humiliate Vegito!" Vegeta didn't say anything since he was terrified. That's right, Vegeta was the one who had suffered a trauma, knowing that this guy was even more powerful than evil Zeno-sama, not being able to move a single finger. "You're right, the power of that guy is incredible, but if we don't defeat him now, no one will be able to do it, and he'll destroy everything in existence." "We can't allow that! We'll finish with the existence of that damned..." Broly and Psyche were a little evenly matched, but what Broly didn't know was that Psyche was only using 40% of all his power. That's right, 40% was more than enough to have a battle with Broly, the most powerful being known up to that moment. "Goku, my friend, there's a last hope for you to be able to end the life of this guy, but it's very risky." "I don't care which one it is. As long as I'm able to end the life of that bastard, I can't allow him to destroy everything you've built." "If things get complicated, I'll let you know telepathically. I have faith that between the four of us, we'll be able to defeat him." And at that moment, Goku would pass through Super Saiyan Ultra Instinct with the power of Zeno-sama. This one would throw a small sphere of energy to Vegeta, which was a part of the power of Zeno-sama. I, the Prince of the Saiyans, will not let this cursed one kill my son Trunks. I plan to destroy him right here, even if it's my turn to sacrifice myself. Vegeta would go Ultra Ego Phase 3 with Susanoo, would increase his power to the maximum. The moment all would be launched against Psyche, which to everyone's surprise would begin to dodge their blows in an incredible way. From one moment to another, to each of them, and would give them a great blow, without thinking twice would throw them a large sphere of energy, which would explode, leaving them with some wounds. No matter how many ants unite to defeat me, they'll never be able to defeat a dinosaur like me. My power is much greater than theirs. No matter how many ants we are, if all these ants unite, they could kill a dinosaur like you. I'll finish with one of your hopes, until the only thing you feel is terror. Psyche at that moment increased his power to 55% of all his power, being able to put all the warriors in great trouble. That's right, his power had grown in an overwhelming way that had been completely overcome. The power of this guy's really another level. His power is not able to be compared to anything or anyone. I have used all my assassination techniques, and none of them have had any effect. It's as if his body had received much more lethal attacks than the ones I'm granting him. Psyche at that moment would get tired of games, starting to leave each one of the present ones out of combat. At that moment, he would leave Goku out of combat, and this one in his mind would observe Zeno-sama.
Zed-chan, what happened?
They've been defeated. Are you ready to use the last method?
That's right, I'm ready.
With this method, I don't know if your ki veins will explode since it's a power beyond anything known.
If I'm going to save you all, I don't care.
As king of all, I grant the omnipotent power to this mortal named Goku. Omnipotent seal activated. Goku at that moment would stand up and begin to increase his power in such an amazing way that it seemed his power had no limit. What will happen next? Find out in the next chapter. Well guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.